This investigation into the secondary employment policies here at the police department was my very first investigation after being assigned to internal affairs, and I was assigned on April 1st, and this investigation was actually given to me on April 10th. So it was a big investigation to start out with. However, prior to coming to internal affairs, I knew for several months that I was going to be assigned here. So I had been sent for training in internal affairs investigations, in background investigations, and then a week or so after I was here, I went for force science training. So I did have a lot of the necessary training that I needed to have. Of course, it was challenging doing interviews and investigations. I'd never been assigned to CID. But I had a lot of good resources within the department. The investigators assigned to my unit helped me tremendously in developing questions and how to go about doing the investigations. So they had a lot of input, and we collaborated a lot on how the investigation would go. And the biggest part of the investigation that I found really was that the policy that we had in place at the time had a lot of loopholes, a lot of loose ends that allowed some things to happen, and there was or not be followed up on, such as submission of secondary employment forms. And so this new policy that went into effect on January 10th really addresses all those things. We now have a captain that is his position, as he is totally oversees the secondary employment program and administers the program. So we have one person that pays attention solely to this issue, which it's vital in our department because it's something that benefits us and the community. And I don't see secondary employment going away simply because of that. There's so many community events out there, there's so many private events out there that have the potential to have a disruption, whether it be just a disruption in traffic or disorderly conduct. And so that way those people are actually paying for the police services that they're using and not relying on the community to pay for those services. And it puts more officers out to be seen in public. Which is a deterrent in itself. So it is a symbiotic relationship. It's a great relationship, but we do need to pay closer attention, which I think the new policy has taken out all those loopholes, and people are now paying more attention. We're doing things the way they need to be done, and we're controlling what jobs we work, where we're working. We know where officers are when they're working extra jobs. We know what hours are there. We know how long they're working. And that in itself is a benefit to the supervisors on the street. Should we have something go wrong, we actually have a worksheet each day, and we know who's out there working extra jobs and where. So if we have somebody in close proximity, we can call that person directly. So the policy has made the investigation worthwhile. I think there was a lot of stress on people, as far as officers, as far as what would happen with our secondary employment policy. Would there still be extra jobs? And that was answered. It was a long investigation. It didn't finish up until August, but in the long run, we ended up with a great policy that was a collaborative effort between the command staff at the police department with input from the law department. So it's tested. And I think it's going to go a long way in improving the way that we administer the secondary employment program.